Today is Wednesday, March 8th, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor Game Changers, Episode 1. 2 hours. Woohoo!
Woohoo! We have a simple formula here at Survivor Fans Podcast. There's the episode, we do a recap. Then the next day, we do interviews. In this case, we're going to do 2 interviews. All right, so we'll get that out to you tomorrow on Thursday, and then on Saturdays we do the listener feedback show. We'll talk a little more about that at the end. That's your chance to weigh in with your thoughts and predictions. Well, what's just your general sentiment, just overall, what'd you think about the opening here? Positive?
You're talking about the opening coming in on the ship or the overall episode?
The whole thing. The whole first.
I loved it. I was
we were really
excited.
Yeah, coming in.
More excited than usual. I was just, could not wait. I was just like, oh, hurry up and get
Hurry up
here.
and get her. That's right.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. The anticipation and then the delivery. Okay, so let's get to the details of their 500th episode.
Because I wasn't happy with everyone's gameplay. But
congratulations, Survivor, for 500 episodes, by the way.
That's
certainly
awesome.
a big deal in 17 years and 34 seasons. Hoorah!
And, there was a lot of people posting things on Facebook and places like that for, previous survivors. And that's kind of fun, too.
Yeah, absolutely. What a milestone for the show. Okay, so Tony's telling us we're coming in. Tony's telling us he's got more tricks. We'll talk a little more about the nature of Tony's tricks as we go through this. Malcolm, Sandra, Cirie, Debbie, they all get confessionals on the way in. And then we get a great opener with Probst standing out on the shipwreck in the middle of the ocean there. That was pretty cool. You thought it looked like he thought he was going to fall, though.
Well, just that he was being very careful.
Yeah. I imagine they had him strapped in. They've done that before when they put him up on high places like that. They put safety ropes on him that you can't see.
He could still get hurt.
And then we're treated to the centro, the short intro. Just takes a few seconds to get through. The full intro with each of the cast members is out on their YouTube channel, Survivor CBS YouTube channel, as well as I'm sure it's at the Survivor website at CBS.
The title of this week's episode was The Stakes Have Been Raised.
That was Andrea. She gave us that. Now, Probst starts off. He kicks it off by spinning out the Game Changer theme and whatever that's supposed to mean with his loosey-goosey definition, huh? So they released the first 7 minutes of it. What was that? Was that yesterday? No, it was Monday, right? Monday. So for us, this was a bit of a repeat watching this part.
Yeah.
But the big takeaway, I think, from this section, and we'll talk a little more about it, but when they talk about, hey, there's an advantage right out of the gate, a twist, in the very beginning, it was JT who said Ozzy will go for that toolkit.
I gotta be Ozzy.
Yeah.
Well, was there ever any doubt that Ozzy would do it?
Wonder what Ozzy was thinking. Was he already thinking it, or did JT just put that squarely in his head?
I totally think he was, because Ozzy was looking around. He was looking where the rafts were. He's usually
doing
pretty
his
observant.
thing. Yeah, he's a think on the feet guy for sure.
Yeah, he is, especially in challenges and things like that. He sees things that not everybody does, so he's real observant.
Probst is trying to psych them up, really get them into the moment, and by telling them what the theme is and how they're supposed to think about it, he said they have to be aware, just like we're talking about with how aware Ozzy was, and that they have to be ready to do anything to anyone. And what did you think about Zeke's response when he asked him if there was a lot of pressure?
That he was geeking out as a fan with all the others there?
Yeah, but it was the second part of what he said that I worried a little bit about on Zeke's behalf.
What did he say?
Well, when he was asked about there being pressure, he said yes, but he wants to prove that he belongs on that boat.
Yeah.
So that seemed like I'm just going to go ahead and put this target on me. I just go ahead and look.
It was already there.
I deserve to not necessarily. He's an unknown, right? But it's to me, when you look at the cast, there's like a top and a bottom portion of the cast, right? It's easy. In the top, you've got Aubry, you got Malcolm, you've got Sierra Easton, you got Sandra, you got Tony, right? Clearly there. Even
Cirie.
I'll go ahead and give it to Troyzan. Yeah, and on Nuku, you've got Andrea, I suppose, Cirie for sure, JT for sure, Ozzy for sure, and that's it, right? That is the top. That's the clear top. And then there's the bottom. And I think the winner's going to come from the bottom. So Caleb, Michaela, Hali, Varner, Culpepper, Sarah, Debbie, Sierra, Don Thomas, Ty, Zeke. That's the bottom.
Okay, so you chose Varner again, right?
I did. I just couldn't resist. I like Varner so much, and he said the right things, even though I waffled on different people in the bottom.
I did too.
And there was, in that bottom half or bottom group I was just talking about, and there was some really good analysis that happened in the part 2 of the On the Grill show that gave me pause. I still went back to Varner when it came down to decision time. I went with him.
I kept thinking somebody under the radar would pull this out, you know, and I kept wanting to choose Hali. I was just really,
Who did you end up
really
choosing?
close. I thought I just kept being drawn to Hali, and then I thought, but I don't think I would enjoy cheering for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought,
because we don't know enough
Malcolm.
about what would make
And then I
her
thought,
fun.
everyone's, there's just going to be lots of people that choose Malcolm.
Sure.
And then I thought, I'm just going to put Aubry because I think I thought she would be maybe a little more under the radar than Malcolm and, maybe Sandra. But
They haven't set up
maybe
Aubry to
not.
be under
Yeah.
the radar at all. But
No,
you
but
ended
I
up
just
going there.
decided it would be more fun.
Okay. So I think you picked someone from the top group, not the bottom group.
Well, according to your division.
And some others that we'll talk about as we go through
some people
this.
would put Varner in the top, too.
No, I don't think there's a single person that would put
would.
Varner in the top. I just didn't. I put him in the bottom group. So Probst tells us there at the beginning, this is the same. They're going to kick it off the same way they did the original Survivor. That was cool, huh? With all the supplies on the boat.
On their 500th episode, and I didn't see anybody. You'd think after what Rupert did in their season in Pearl Islands, somebody would have stolen something out on a ship like that. Of course, I guess they did. You said Varner stole the crate.
He
Remember,
yanked a crate of vegetables
Debbie.
and melons away from Debbie at one point. Well, someone does kind of steal something because right away we see Andrea pick something up, but she's clueless. She missed it.
She didn't see it. Yeah.
Picks up this bag and hucks it over the side, and there's a secret advantage laying there on the deck of the ship.
But SierraT got it.
Yep, she got it. And we get to see Debbie drop a melon on Cirie. And I think Ty was trying to kill the chickens at first.
Just drown them.
Yeah, he was
Drown the
drowning them
chicken.
and himself. He ended up going under the chicken cage when he went over the side with it.
What did you think about Malcolm saying that, well, Ozzy's here, no one else will get the tool, so they didn't even... You would have thought Malcolm would be one that would head out there.
He was talking about what a big game he was going to play, right? Mm-hmm. How much bigger could you play than after hearing JT say Ozzy's going to go for it, than to beat Ozzy off the boat, go flying over the side.
I don't think I don't think he thought he could beat Ozzy, and or that anyone on the boat could beat Ozzy.
Well, I think that's convenient to not put yourself, to not take that risk. I guess that's where I was going with that. To answer your question, that was a convenient reply for someone who wasn't willing to risk going after it to begin with.
I think that,
when
it would
his
be
tribe needed someone to do it.
A bad way to start losing against Ozzy before you even get to the beach.
No, it's a no-lose situation. Everyone expects Ozzy to win.
Yep.
So you can only come out ahead by going out there and getting close.
Well, and then you got an extra...
Malcolm loses at things. He's kind of a mixed bag. But it would have been awesome if he would have been a man of his word with all that pregame talk.
Caleb eventually went, but it's like, that's a waste now in going that long.
That was foolish.
But, it's like, why not at least have an extra person on the ship gathering stuff? You get a little bit more food You may not get the tools, but you get a little bit more food, at least.
Maybe.
If they didn't think anyone that could beat Ozzy.
Perhaps, yeah. Caleb seemed like he was really doing it to the detriment of his tribe. To your point, he wasn't there helping them load stuff on.
And he went so far after.
Yeah, that's why it was a...
Well, that's kind of a waste of time and energy, but when you said you weren't going to do that, Caleb.
So I see he scores that what Probst describes as a massive head start in the form of all those tools.
On a toolkit.
Yeah.
I liked it that JT said that he could build him a mansion with that toolkit.
With all that good stuff. Although I'm not sure we saw anything. We didn't see anything in the way of camp that looked impressive.
Too much about camp.
No.
And then working. Well, I think it was on the next on, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, you could see a little bit more there, and there were some other scenes, and we're like all caught up in the episode and not looking at the state of their camp as much. But I had a quick question about the camps. When they pulled the shot back, when you get that helicopter shot and you see the two tribes in the rafts, my first question was, well, how close are their camps, right? Because it looks like they're going to land roughly on the same beach, on the same side of the island.
Well,
Looks really close.
I don't think so that way. Maybe where they landed, but they might have taken some of their stuff. No, they had to haul it. Anyway, one of them were coming down this long, looked like ramp thing built down. They didn't...
You mean stairs?
Well, whatever. Stairs have steps.
Yeah.
I thought it was more of a long ramp.
Clearly had steps. We even talked about it. But just real quick, they're back in beautiful Fiji. We knew that, but it was cool to see some of those shots again. Huh?
But I still don't see how they landed on the beach and then had to come down.
I think they're using one of those kind of... you wouldn't call it a mountain, but they're using one of the hills, one of the crests there
to separate them.
Yeah, I think that's effectively what they're doing.
Yeah, but still, if you
seems odd.
Land on the beach on a boat, how do you walk down?
We got to ask. We'll ask Tony. We'll ask Cirie.
I want to know.
Yeah. Okay. So Mana, day one, we start off. They're walking down those walking down those steps. Right, like we were talking about.
I like it that you did that, not me.
Yep. Hugs for everyone. Let's get to know each other. And Haley tells us, well, she's a cobra.
Everybody else is a snake in the grass.
Yeah, she's waiting to strike.
Well, but Haley, cobras are more noticeable than snakes in the grass because cobras kind of, have great big heads. And
when they raise up, you mean?
But anyway.
That was very, that made me think of when I was in the Philippines. That was very unnerving to have all the signs around on the work site where I was, where they're like, watch out for cobras.
Then we have Michaela, who tells us, okay, she's thinking she's going to cozy up to everybody this time.
She cracked me up right out of the gate.
To Troyzan and said, oh, is that your real name?
I don't think she was being coy or being, trying to be funny or trying to make him think that she was dumb or
Well, you said, did you not watch his season?
Yeah, well, and that's probably the obvious answer, right?
Yeah. But
we know she wasn't a fan before. She was trying to get on Amazing Race.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I had kind of forgotten that until then. It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
What'd you think about Tony right out of the gate? You guys do nice. I'm going for the idol. Woohoo! He's off.
Well, he was certainly out there with it.
Yeah.
Though I don't think he exactly got the result he was looking for.
No, he
they
really
were all
going
to chase him off.
Yeah.
And,
He thought it was going to be a funny little moment.
Yeah, it just kind of
Sandra said, we'll vote him off first. And then Sandra and Caleb go to track him down.
And they didn't vote him off first, but she was close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malcolm tells us that Tony's freaking out already.
And that he's going to make alliances, not look for idols.
Yeah.
He thought that was more important.
And I liked what Sandra said, especially given my pick. She said, we need Tony.
Yep. Right.
Caleb says
she didn't.
Caleb says Tony has high spirits and certainly they need to stay strong.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
Caleb likes Tony.
Okay. All right. Over to Nuku, day one.
And we see the goats right off.
They come hiking in. Yep. Carrying their stuff. Yeah, there's some goats there, but...
And you said, no, they can't catch them.
They're
really fast.
Unlikely. Yeah, but we'll get back to that, won't we? Yeah.
And Zeke tells us he's there to slay everybody and win, but that he's really got on a great tribe. He's liking everybody.
Yeah, sure. It'd be hard
guess
not
that
to
makes it
fan out a
harder.
little.
Yeah. Well, you know,
He
with
tells us
Cirie
he's going
there
to
and-
basically fake it till he makes it. He's going to act like he belongs. He's there with the goddess Cirie, he tells us, and Ozzy and JT. And
Well, and then Ty's the one that says that you can't catch a goat.
yeah,
So he doesn't believe they can catch it.
JT agreed with him. Yeah.
And okay, Brad had a nice line. Well, we'd probably have to kill Ty if we had killed goat.
Yeah. What did you think of Brad's strategy? WWMD. What would Monica do?
I was just going to say Brad had a strategy.
He did. He did. Well, he explained it right before he did the WWMD,
I
right?
know,
He says he's gonna let them come to him. He's gonna start it off slow. Yeah, I think that was good. Instead of him going out of the gate like Tony, going nuts, and drawing a lot of attention
certainly
to
better
himself.
than what Tony did.
Yeah.
I thought, but
Yeah, it was
Tony's
in
so
contrast.
out there and such a big target anyway. I don't know that he had much to lose, but I think I would have dialed it back a little. But
All right, let's talk about.
yeah, that's okay. But you know, what would Monica do was just kind of like.
Yeah.
I told you before he went out there that I'm sure she gave him detailed instructions on how to play.
Yeah.
the game. So,
let's find out what it was that Sierra Dawn Thomas found.
were you surprised?
Okay, I'll answer your surprise question.
No, I'll bring it up later. It's out of order. Okay, and Sierra talked about the big legacy advantage. We got to see that a little bit.
And there's a twist on it.
Twist.
Yeah, she can only play it at 13 or 6 this time.
Yeah.
And it still has the other attribute that you will it to someone if you do get voted out.
So that could be a real advantage for her.
And she's working. She's talking to Ozzy.
Though it didn't save Jessica, but
Although she seemed to have her numbers wrong. She was talking about 4, like she's thinking about a final 4.
yeah.
And that she's scared of Cirie, and that Cirie's going to have
Do you
to go
think
if
she
they
just
lose.
said that because Ozzy said he wasn't trusting her?
No.
She wanted Ozzy.
No, I don't. I think that was pretty sincere. That was how she's thinking about things.
You know-
You're talking about someone who was just talking about having 4 instead of the majority to take care of what they needed to take care of immediately if they lost.
At this point in the game, I would be really surprised if everyone didn't want Ozzy because most of them think they can out-talk him and out-strategize him.
Sure.
And he's going to provide for them.
Sure.
He's going to be a monster in the challenge.
Well, I think we'll see
Why
that
wouldn't you want him?
very shortly here that there's only one person really talking about focusing on him right now. So, all right, we come back to Nuku on day 2, and Cirie's telling us that she's a little concerned with Ozzy on her tribe, and she wants to know if they're good.
I didn't think
She wants
she
a clean
necessarily
slate.
handled that well in the way she went about it.
No,
I
she
thought she
confused
should have
him a
had
little.
him off kind of when he was on his own or something.
Yeah.
You know, that should have been kind of
Catch
their
him for
business.
a one-on-one instead of this in
Yeah.
front of the other
Yeah,
folks to
and
ask
while
if they
the work's
if they
going
were
on.
good. Yeah.
I just thought, that doesn't seem as smooth as
What do you think about
she could
Ty's
be.
strategy here when Ozzy, JT, and Ty are off talking?
I don't think Ty
He keeps
has,
going. Ty was doing something with purpose, and he did it to both Ozzy and Cirie. He kept saying, "You guys have history." This is an effective tool that he was using. It was getting to both of them.
Okay. Well, I know he freaked Cirie out, but
Yeah, it was.
I didn't notice that he did that with Ozzy so
Yeah,
much.
he said it.
but-
We see him saying it first to Ozzy.
Okay. Well, since he's part of the Korong 4 that's on there this season, he might want to point out other people that played together. And
So we right
their
in
difficulties.
when they're having their discussion, we see the sharks in the water before they go to them, and then after Ozzy, JT, and Ty are wrapping up what they're saying, we see Cirie saying there will be blood. So she's going to chum the waters for those sharks. That's what we're supposed to think there. Okay, over on Mana, day 2, more sharks in the water. We get that imagery again as we go over to the other tribe.
Where's Tom Westman when you need him?
Or Richard Hatch. He's killed sharks
he
in the
gets
water
sharks
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. They bit him or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This whole underground bunker thing.
Seems stupid. That's all that was my assessment
like,
right out of the
really?
get. Even the preseason thing, I thought, oh, he's just saying that because he wants something for the camera. But no, we actually see him start to do this.
And people are going to notice that he's had stuff piled all on top of him if he does it repeatedly. And
You mean like how Troyzan busts him, he walks up and sees that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
And
seeing
he's been
it either.
digging over here, and, they didn't get what he was really doing, the whole spy shack thing. But I just thought, Tony, you've been there, done that.
We're going to come back to this, but on some level, we were wrong.
About?
The effectiveness of what he's doing here. But we'll come back, right? So
Okay, we'll come
Troyzan
back.
busts him, and he calls Tony the idol weasel. He thinks she's just hunting for idols.
Yep,
And he's
yep.
already saying he has to be careful of him.
And he had a guilty face. Then he goes and tells Malcolm.
Who tells Haley. Haley tells
Sierra, Aubry, and Michaela,
Yeah.
and
so
Troyzan.
on and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it got around pretty quick. And then Sierra starts in about how arrogant Tony is and got to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and how she knows how to play with winners, right? And she's had some experience playing with winners, and some of the other folks haven't, although Sandra has.
Well, the thing is, she was talking to people. Maybe they did a really good job of hiding their reactions on their faces, but
Oh, when she walked up to the well?
yeah, and they're like, they don't want those people out. They don't want to get rid of Caleb. They don't want to get
Right.
rid of Tony. That doesn't suit their plan. I don't know. I just kind of thought she was a little bit out there with that.
Yeah, Varner was quick
too out
to
there.
say that.
Yeah.
Not Caleb.
Yeah.
He didn't
and
say not
so-
Tony, but he did say not Caleb.
Yep. I
Yeah.
thought she should have laid back a little bit. And
I
let
was
people
really happy
bring it
with how
up.
this was going down. When Malcolm was throwing her out there, I mean, he was basically doing what she was doing, because he says, well, Sierra's the only one throwing names out. Maybe it should be her. And then, of course, that's Malcolm doing what he just said she was doing.
Well, that's
but-
the danger when you're in a big group. They were in a pretty big group like that, and you throw it out. Probably there's at least one or two, at the very least, in that group that aren't going to like your suggestions.
Could be.
So
It's hard
I
to
don't know.
say.
It just would be better to hold back a little till you kind of see where people are leaning.
All right, you ready to talk about the first community challenge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they got to paddle out. One person goes and gets the keys. They got to do this obstacle course coming back. Oh yeah, there's no, and he tells them about there's no revotes if there's a tie at tribal council, but they got to come back, and then they got to solve this puzzle, put a ship wheel together, and then
After
raise
they
the
get
flag,
the puzzle
right?
pieces, yep,
Yeah,
solve the
after they
puzzle,
get it.
and the winner gets flint as
What'd
well.
you think about this one?
It was good.
Yeah, I thought it
It
was
was
a great
very
one.
physical.
What I hadn't
Like
picked,
water challenge.
what I hadn't picked up on is that it's a puzzle that Sierra had done before,
Yeah, they
not
had no
successfully.
Clue.
Yeah,
No clue.
I didn't remember that.
I
so,
didn't either.
Yeah, that's probably something else we can look forward to this season. There'll be some repeat elements of the challenges, things that we've seen before,
Well, do you think Jeff?
that some of these folks have participated in. I'm going to qualify that.
Why did Jeff take that specific time to tell them about the twist at tribal council? Why wouldn't he just tell them when they got there? What was his purpose for that? Was he trying to rattle them before the challenge? Just give them a little extra something to go.
You mean
"Oh,"
instead of telling them at the end of it? Yeah, it might have been.
at the end, or
This
just
is
when
more-
they get to tribal council?
It's a more, well, if you do it just when they go to tribal council, then the other tribe doesn't know that those stakes are, they don't know that that's happening. This is a way for both tribes to be informed at the same time,
Well, you can
regardless
tell
of what
them
the
when
outcome
they
of the
got there,
challenge
too,
is.
but-
Yeah, I guess you could have held it back. I kind of like it like this because it throws you off a
It
little
throws
bit.
them either way,
Yeah.
really. But I just thought that was unusual. He doesn't usually do, something like that. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them something related to tribal council specifically at the beginning of a challenge. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was odd, different, but
Yeah.
I imagine there will be quite a few things that will be different with this season.
So Haley was pretty bold. She put herself out there against Ozzy
Yep.
to get that key, and she did. She did
She
well,
fairly
huh?
well.
Yeah. All things considered, she did well. So we had Varner on the locks and Debbie on the locks.
Yep.
And Sierra and Sandra, like we said, with Sierra working on the puzzle. And they catch up pretty quick.
Well, they both worked on the puzzle.
Yep.
I thought they were working pretty well together.
Seemed to be at first. Yep.
It just didn't fit when they got done either. But the first time Varner and Cirie got it together, it didn't work either. So I doubt that's unusual. That
You
they
mean
had to go
Zeke?
back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zeke. What did I say, Varner?
Well, probably because I said his name because I mentioned he was the one who did the locks the
Oh,
way
okay.
Debbie did. as the third in the Sierra Sandra puzzle group.
Cirie and Zeke. I'm actually,
Did good.
it's easier to have like Cirie and Sierra now that's eliminated one of the two Sierras.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
So we don't have to
I'm
go
still
through.
going to flub it. All right, so
that's right. You had trouble with the Cirie Sierra.
Yeah, when I go to read them for some reason. So Nuku wins, and that's what we were counting on. All right, we both had Sierra going, and then I picked Sandra to go as my second. Who did you pick as your second? Debbie?
Debbie.
Yeah, so you thought it was going to split. I thought it was.
I thought Sierra would go first.
Mana
and
was going to lose both
the other
times.
tribe would come back and win, and
They'd
Debbie
have a fire
would go
in their
home
belly, and then
because
Debbie would go.
Debbie would upset someone.
But Debbie actually did good on her portion of the on the locks there.
She actually did.
She didn't goof it up.
Well, I'll wait till we get there. But no, she didn't. She did okay.
How's that for some karma? She loses again on that puzzle.
You know, I really
where her
kind
mom
of feel
had
a
beat
little
her.
bad for Sierra because
Nah.
she just got smacked around.
This is actually like Parker was talking about in part 2 of On the Grill. This is par for her game. This is exactly the kind of game that she plays.
Lost the same puzzle.
Yep.
She lost last time. She's lost it 2 times in a row.
I wonder if
Then she gets voted out first.
I wonder if she had practiced
Bye-bye.
done any puzzle practice at all before heading back out
That's
there.
harsh. I do feel a little bit bad for her.
Okay.
I do. Mm-hmm. Because I don't care who you are. That's tough. So, to get, that just feels.
Okay, so the challenge was on day 3. They're back at camp, back at the Mana camp on day 3. And Varner tells us, it's no big deal to me. I always lose the first challenge. It's happened every time I play.
Every time I played.
I just want to keep the tribe strong.
Always had to go to tribal council. So, and Tony gets right to work with the guys.
Well, there was Aubry,
And Aubry.
Caleb, yeah,
And then Sandra showed up.
Varner, and Malcolm. And Aubry offers
I
up
thought
Sierra.
I was happy to see all of that. I thought, wow, that's quite the alliance of Tony, Malcolm, Caleb, Varner, Aubry, and Sandra.
Yep. Well, and then Sandra comes up and asks, tell me who to vote for. She won't ever say. So.
I like that.
And then they decide
strategy.
that. Well, here's the part that almost
Tell
seemed
me
like
who
it.
you want.
It back. Okay, let's see how it pans out for her this time. They decide that they're going to tell Sierra that it's Michaela, so they quickly square that away.
Well, I think Sandra's done pretty darn good so far to make it through the first 2 votes. So
You
I'm
think who
thrilled.
has?
Sandra.
Ah, okay.
I'm just still excited because Sandra made it through the first 2 votes.
All right.
I wanted to choose her, but I thought, I don't,
Yeah, you're not that
enough
bold.
faith.
Yep.
Oh, bold. Yeah, Mr. had Tony safe this week.
That's an example of a bold risk-taking pick.
And look where
the
it
kind of
got
move
ya.
that Jeff Probst values, mind you.
Who scores higher?
Well, we'll talk about that at the appropriate time.
Mr. Bold. What else you got, Mr. Bold?
Well, Sierra is just fine and dandy with it being Michaela, and she thinks there's an advantage if she do have to draw rocks, but she's fine with it being Michaela. And Sandra tells Hali and
Everyone
Troyzan
else.
what it is, but Michaela freaks out. She did not handle this well. This was her first big test, at least that we get to see in the episode, right? In the overall game,
And in
she
my book,
completely
she
blew
failed.
it. Yeah.
That was a big fail to
big
me.
F.
I was like, I'm so glad I didn't choose her. Doesn't mean she won't do well, but she's not.
Aubrey's talking about how she has
a.
a hot streak. Tony's talking about how she reacted.
Yeah.
Caleb is. Yeah.
And that
And
again,
even Sandra says Michaela may need to go.
she is a very expressive face, and you could tell she was really ticked off with Malcolm for not letting her throw.
This
and
is
she
the
liked that a bit. Yeah, I
other
know we're
part of
not
the
there
episode,
yet,
huh?
but it's just another example of her showing her anger.
She's not playing she didn't open the game really well. Not at all.
No, so I hope she gets better, or she's going to be gone.
Okay, Tribal Council. What'd you think about the Tribal Council set? That was quite the deal, wasn't it?
That was very,
Yeah,
very
I like
different.
the lighthouse.
And it's
where they
outside,
vote.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. But they vote
pretty cool.
inside that little lighthouse.
Cool.
They got shipwrecks all around, yeah. Tony tells us that there were obviously expectations of him, but they had put the brakes on him.
Yeah.
Malcolm said, yeah, Tony's crazy.
There's no brakes on Tony. He's full speed ahead. Mm-hmm. So, and Jeff, of course, points out, well, Caleb, you guys don't know his strategy because.
And Caleb tries to tell him that he's strategic. I did not see any evidence of that in the first episode, Caleb.
Well, why didn't Michaela feel the need to say she thought it would be kind of punkish to vote out, an easy vote in a season like this? You think that she just planned to say something because they were confident in the vote, or do you think that she was something
about
still not sure?
That seemed more like something about what had gone down. Her impression of where she was made her think that was the right kind of thing. There's so much we don't see.
Well, and Sandra was saying she's such a treasure.
The group loves her. That's what she tells us. Yeah.
Well, I thought she was talking about.
Oh, that's right.
Michaela.
She was talking about Michaela. Yeah, I was just glancing down at my notes, and I thought, well, that's like a mob hit. That's like where they kiss your cheek right before they put two in your chest and one in your head.
She said she's such a treasure, and I looked at you and said, well, let's bury her.
Yeah.
She's such a treasure. Let's bury her.
And of course, she tries to plant her seed for how she's going to win, which is they love me, and nobody's going to give me $1 million, which is exactly the same thing she said the second time she played, which ended up working. If you can get there with two other people that nobody likes, she could win again.
I would give up all my points for that. I would not care. It would
Varner
just be
tells us there was talk at the well, there was talk at the beach. It was very unsettling because she didn't know quite which way the conversations were going.
What was Hali's whole loose lip sink ships thing?
In terms of people who, you mean, what did she mean by that?
Well, I know
people
what she
who were
meant.
Talking and offering names are the ones.
I know what she meant.
Okay.
But who was she referring to exactly?
How Cirie, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Based on, because she was asked what's her criteria for her decision.
Oh, okay.
So she said challenge, weakness, and someone who's ruffled feathers and loose lips sink ships. So Cirie obviously had a weakness in the puzzle, right?
Well,
in the
you
challenge.
see Cirie get nervous about them, like, okay, I'm not feeling so confident anymore.
And Michaela didn't seem to be totally confident because when she answered Jeff, she said she'd be surprised if she didn't get a vote. What did you think about
But maybe she was
Sandra's
trying to
idea of the title of that chapter when Jeff asked her that question? The unknown, she says. Mm-hmm. That seemed like a bit of a cop-out, huh?
Yeah.
I thought she could have done a little better. All right, so my first question when we get to see him going to vote is, hey, do you think there's an idol already in the lighthouse? I was looking around.
Yeah, we were already going, where is it? Where do you think it is?
Yeah.
Where would they put it?
Yeah.
You would think they would hide it somewhere over around the voting booth.
Which is the lighthouse.
But then again, you would think.
That is the lighthouse.
They would, I know, but you would think, again, that they would put it somewhere a little more out in the open, so it would be
a risk.
No, of being seen.
I don't think so. That's almost why they
did
needed
the challenge.
That's why. Yeah, that's different though. You got cover with action going on. You don't have a lot of cover when you're walking back and forth through the tribal council set. That's why they built that lighthouse, though, so they can have.
They'd have a little shield.
Yeah, and someone could root around in there and look. So I think that's just going to be exciting. I'm thrilled. Now, every time they go to vote, I'm just scanning, looking, hoping somebody's going to see something.
Well, I really thought that, and Michaela did get one vote. I think that's what she was alluding to, is that she was only going to get one vote.
Yeah, maybe she got right with the whole idea. She didn't seem right with it earlier.
Because she did say, I think I'll get one vote. I won't leave here without getting one vote.
I'll be surprised if I don't get a vote.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think she
So we get our first blind side.
I thought she handled it really well because she looked like she really wanted to she was upset and really wanted to say something else, but she just, good job, you got me, but she looked more upset than that. So
how can you not be upset being the first one out in the big game changer season?
I know, like I said, I felt for her, but I really wish they would show us, like they do with the Ponderosa stuff, I wish they'd show us everyone going out, especially this season, and see.
What do you mean?
A little more about what they say afterwards and all that. I just didn't feel like.
Oh, you want a day after interview with everyone who goes out before the merge?
Or at least, right after interview, something.
Yeah.
A little more. I miss not getting to hear what they say when they vote. I miss those things.
I thought that's what you were going to say. Yeah, but we've been lamenting that for years now.
Once they got out, they interviewed them a little bit right there in that moment, and we don't get that anymore either until after we get to the jury.
Okay, back at Mana, day 4.
Moving on.
Tony is bothered because that tribal went so smoothly. And that it was unanimous
Unanimous is what he said.
instead of unanimous, yeah. So he wants to stir things up,
You
get
say
it in
tomato,
gear.
I say tomato. Well, actually, I don't, but... Okay, yeah, I just thought Tony's got so much nervous energy.
That's the
That's
same
what-
way he was before.
I know.
He's not
That's
playing
why
any
I
different.
didn't want, I wasn't a big a fan of seeing him come back because I thought he was going to play that same way. And
But we loved watching him the first time.
I know, but been there, done that, and it was just so much nervous energy. I just kept thinking he would annoy me. Just being around that energy would annoy me, especially when you're tired and you're hungry or you want to sleep. And Tony's energy is bouncing off the walls around you, or the forest. And that would bother
I think
me.
because you're actually truly in that state right now, that it was annoying you even more. So you're probably right.
What?
It probably would bug them.
Oh, because I've been awake for over 22 hours
Yeah.
now.
Because you couldn't
Okay.
sleep last night. Yeah.
Okay. That might have something to
It
do.
may be. Maybe just a little.
You think?
So
Okay.
Tony tells Aubry that he needs her because she's a big threat, which I think Aubry actually took as a compliment, because I was concerned that wasn't necessarily the right thing to say. Hey, you're a big threat, which means people want to
We
vote
need
you
each
out.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He meant it to mean we need each other, but
Mm-hmm.
she seemed to agree and take it all in stride. And they figure they got Malcolm, Caleb, and Sandra, so they're all their strategy is keep the threats as shields.
Obviously, Aubrey changed somewhere along the
I
line.
like the discussion that Sandra and Tony had at this time, right? They said,
Yeah.
we need 3 winners at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a winner wins. A previous winner wins.
Yeah. I thought, ooh.
Tony's
that
going to
could
help
be
my
interesting.
game, and Tony thinks Sandra's going to help his game.
Yeah, and then just completely, bam, turned on each other. Did not take long at all.
Okay, we pop over to Nuku on day 4. There's work being done there around the camp.
Ty is tying up the rooster.
They're naming the chickens, and they decide to name one of them Monica. So Brad says, oh, no, it has to be one of the brunette chickens.
Okay, Brad, why would you let them name them Monica when you're
When they're
going to
gonna
wring
butcher it.
their neck and eat her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
not the
much.
best answer.
I think he just
It's
wanted to get
let's
Monica's name out
not
there.
name one Monica. He says, no, not that one named Monica. This other one has to be named Monica. You think she punched him tonight when they were watching?
I would have.
Yeah. Okay, Ty tells us he is the chicken guy, and evidently he's overfeeding the chickens, and he's feeding the chickens lots of their food. JT's concerned
Yeah,
because he's
JT's
giving
not
too
going to
much
have
corn
it.
away.
JT's not going to be like the other tribe, I don't think. His JT will go over there and wring a neck and go,
Mm-hmm.
we're eating.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Well, they did that, and with some of the other chickens, right? Ty
yeah,
just
they
saved
did.
Mark.
He saved Mark.
Yep.
But I don't think that even that would work with JT. It's like, hey,
Okay, so we pop back over to the Mana tribe at night of day 4 there, and Tony tells us he can't sit still. He's got to go finish that spy bunker. And this is the point I was talking about earlier. I didn't think about how effective it would be in the dark.
it could be somewhat effective in the dark. But
And I thought he was going to actually demonstrate it. Instead, he scrambled out of it because I guess he didn't have quite enough materials.
don't you think they might notice that big of a lump?
Not in the dark. That's my point.
Well, maybe not in the dark, but who's going to go out that far in the dark?
It's at the
typically?
well. That's the smartness, the
Yeah.
beauty of doing it there at the well.
Yes, but
Okay,
how
maybe
many people are going to go in the middle of the night to the well?
Well, 2 of them showed up.
Yeah, but I still don't think that would be
They
a
were
regular
right there.
occurrence. But I could be wrong.
Let me frame
Okay.
it for you this way. How
You go,
often do you get a drink of water in the night?
Me? I drink 2 big glasses a night, probably.
See, the other people may need to do the same thing. So this
Not-
is where
not,
I
not
had to,
everyone gets up
I
as
had-
much as I do.
I had to reconsider, right? That there might be some merit to what he was trying to do. Because my first assessment was, Tony, that's stupid. The underground bunker idea is stupid. But he's digging an impression. He's not trying to make a bunker. Okay, that's good because you're digging in sand. And he's going to cover it up with vegetation. Use vegetation like he did before.
Yeah,
okay,
but
there could be
over him, which is a big clump.
this yeah, especially if someone went searching for an idol
then
right
that
there
piled on
in the
top.
bunker. Anyway, I thought there was some merit to it at that point. I had to rethink it a little,
I
give him
thought
some
it'd
credit.
been much better just to, be over there if it's at night. Just be where he ran off to when they came up.
So Sandra and Troyzan, they sneak off to talk, and Tony ends up busting them. I thought that was funny, and he's onto them right away. He's like, "They're both lying to me. This stupid lies."
Yeah.
And this is where Tony flips
I didn't
on
understand
Sandra.
why Sandra didn't just wait and pull Tony aside and go, "Look, I couldn't tell you in front of him. I didn't want to say anything."
Well, she was caught in the moment. You know what it's like when you get caught in something in the moment. So she wasn't
but I
thinking
think she could have
that
pushed
clearly.
it off as, I just wanted to see what he was thinking.
Could have, but
so we'd know what we had to deal with, and I want to know what he'd have to say. And he was talking about you, and she could have sold that.
Maybe I don't know. she didn't. So yeah, he was pretty clearly onto her, but that also meant that she had to back away from him too.
Well, but what she really didn't like was him getting up in her face like that and really staring her down.
The way she does others. Yeah, she didn't like that for sure.
Doesn't mean you like it being done to you.
Okay, Nuku, day 5. Ozzy and JT are pretty happy because they're strong.
She compared him to the popo, but he is the popo.
Right. She said that, which he is.
Yeah, so.
Okay, Cirie is not feeling comfortable. She doesn't think that... See, Ty just completely unraveled her. She thought she had made peace, and his one little statement about...
Hesitation. No, it wasn't a statement.
Yeah, it was.
His hesitation.
No, well...
It really got her.
Okay, so it was two things. It was his statement, you have history together, and then, he paused and didn't
she
answer
asked
her
a question, and he was like, have a deer in the headlight. But I was really kind of disappointed because Cirie had always been so smooth, with her.
Yeah, so we get this montage where she's
manipulation.
going to people after that. She's talking to Sarah. I thought she was doing okay. I won't write your name unless it's for the
I
win.
thought she did fine with Sarah, but Sarah handled it.
What about Zeke?
I didn't even mind so much with Zeke. It was really Debbie.
This is when I started thinking, like what you were saying, though, that she wasn't managing herself well.
Yeah, no.
She hadn't invested enough time to know how to make this approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought she should have cultivated them a little bit more.
But to your point,
little bit
Debbie's
more.
the one that you fail to convince, your game's off. So I think that's safe to say, right? At this point,
She shouldn't
Cirie's game
really
is off.
tell anyone, I'm doing you a favor. That's such a cop-out. I mean, it would make me immediately suspicious. I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
Out here, I'm going to do you a favor.
Well,
Nobody's doing you a favor.
Yeah, she basically said that she was giving her free advice.
Yeah, but it
she said, "I'm
assumes
doing
that
you a favor."
I'm better than you, at this game, and I'm going to give you some free advice, and I'm gonna help you.
I'm with you, I guess, in a way. Debbie
just didn't
Debbie
know.
wasn't open to the way that Cirie presented it, and I think that's because Cirie hadn't invested. This is day 5.
Time in getting to know Debbie.
Yes,
really.
yeah, she may not have. I don't know. You think Cirie actually watched her season?
What do you mean?
Did Cirie watch Debbie's season?
Oh, Debbie's season. I don't know.
Based on how we see her goofing this, I'm thinking maybe not.
Well, you wouldn't think so, because I didn't think she handled it well. So I was disappointed.
What do we know about Debbie? You need to let Debbie tell you, right?
But I think Cirie was trying to, kiss up to Debbie and pull her in, but she went about it all wrong.
She said free advice, and then she was basically saying, look, you're talking too much. So she definitely went about it wrong with Debbie.
Yeah.
That was the gist of what Cirie was offering in this free, air quotes, advice.
I didn't blame Debbie for coming back defensively. She thinks she can outwit me, and, But I thought
It's
Debbie...
classic Debbie. I have military training.
Yeah. I thought Debbie handled it well in the fact that, oh, no, we're cool, girl. We're good.
Except
We're good.
when she didn't know Cirie's name.
Exactly.
Cirie
just kind of
is on the chopping
funny.
block, which is exactly Debbie. That's why they brought Debbie back out. They didn't bring Debbie out because she's a game changer. They brought Debbie out because she's entertaining.
Yeah, I was disappointed by all of that because I've so loved watching Cirie play over the years, and
She's just fumbling pretty bad, yeah.
But she knew she was going to step right into it, but
she's missing the part where she really had the connection with the people.
yes, she made the connections first. I think she just felt like because Ozzy was there already, and she thought she had it settled with him, that, oh goodness, and I don't have much time.
I did not expect Ty to have this big of an impact on the game.
No, I didn't at all, yeah.
And I'm really attributing a lot of her uneasiness to him.
But did he do it deliberately, or did he just not know what to say and not want to get caught in the middle?
I don't think it was Machiavellian. I don't think he was working a strategy totally, but I think on some level he knew what he was doing. He could sense the impact it was having.
Well, if you poke the bears and let them go at each other, then, you can walk away.
Well, you don't. Yeah, you have to do it in the right way. You got to make each bear think it was the other bear. And that was coming across. They were drawing their own conclusions.
She could not go to Ozzy and say, well, Ty said, because Ty didn't say anything.
Right.
And he didn't. So.
Well, from what they showed us, I think he probably did eventually. Yeah.
But all we've got is what they showed us. So.
Right, more sharks in the water there at Mana on day 5. Hali and Sandra are talking.
Or Sandra, mostly.
No,
He's not
most
the
important
boss
thing.
of me.
No, you skipped over the most important thing we heard.
Okay,
that was from Hali. She said Tony hasn't talked to me at all.
Yes, no,
that's day 5, and he hasn't talked. Yeah, I just didn't want to skip over it. I know you heard it because you commented on it.
Well, I actually had it next, but
yeah. So she's all in favor of turning the tables on him.
And she said to Sandra, "Are you in the Alliance of 5?" Because Sandra said, "Are you in Tony's Alliance of 5?" And she's like, "No, Tony hasn't talked to me. Are you in there?"
I like Varner. He's just thoroughly impressed. He's enjoying watching Sandra work, huh?
He
Alliance of 5 in 15 minutes.
He put out a little video today. You're talking about it, and you could tell he just loved Sandra. He's like, "I just love Sandra." So, and they looked like we saw some clip they had shown where they were both laughing. Sandra was laughing at him. So.
Yeah, I think we saw that tonight. Sandra pulls together Hali, Troyzan, Michaela, and Varner.
And then
so that's a majority for a vote.
Varner's sitting back going, Sandra pulled together an alliance of 5 in 15 minutes. Just bam. You could tell he's very impressed with that. And I thought he was really solid, but I didn't know which way Varner was going to go, From there on out, I was kind of like, oh, I thought you were solidly here.
He left it open. He tells us that he can't wait to see the fireworks.
Well, certainly, he is also a Sandra-like player in that as long as it's not me, I can kind of go wherever I think I fit best. So as long as it's not me.
How do you think he's doing with his pregame strategy? Remember what he said?
He was going to get close to everyone.
Yeah.
So far, it's looking pretty good.
He keeps popping up in these different groups, right? In the different alliance chats, and he shows up there. Okay, so we get more predator behavior to go along with the sharks. We got a bird hunting there in the ocean as we go to day 6 on Mana. Tony's nervous. He says, somebody's trying to play me. And to Aubry, we need to get another 5 together, get another option.
Okay, so next up we've got the second immunity challenge, serpent turf, and they have to swim out and retrieve the snake. I did not think Varner would do that, but I guess it was so
to his detriment.
Malcolm could do the throwing.
Yeah.
He was the next strongest person to go out that was left, over
I just
want
to say real quick, I was optimistic at this point just before they went to the challenge, rewinding just a tad there where Michaela said, hey, we've got to stop Sandra. Because I had Sandra going, and I was hopeful, right? So it was good to hear Michaela say that, and that she wanted to be strength-focused. And then Caleb was, hey, we got to stay strong, and I'm going to stick with Tony more than Sandra as they headed into it, and Malcolm agreed they were all about staying strong.
Well, then you got all nervous that if Sandra didn't go, maybe your USB was going to go.
That comes later, huh?
Well,
so, yeah, at that serpent turf, that was the name of that challenge. I didn't realize it was over 400 pounds.
Well, Caleb said 6 to 7.
Well, maybe that's with the water in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
it
Yeah,
got
but that was impressive. Yeah, Kierharfer, and there was a challenge video where they broke it down, and he was just ecstatic. He's talking about this being one of his like all-time favorite challenges.
Yep.
Okay, so their rewards: an awesome fishing kit, fishing traps, nets, hand reels, and a raft. I missed the raft initially, but so they're even going to get a raft to go along with all the fishing gear, which is awesome. So you can get distance out away from the beach, which is often what you need to do to get some good fishing in. That's where Ozzy's been real successful in the past.
Well, and here's where we see who they think is weakest on their tribe.
Mm-hmm.
They sit out Cirie.
Yep. Varner didn't even get in the water inside the cage when they had to pull the snake out. I was really disappointed in him. And then he said,
didn't get on down in there.
Yeah, he was trying to direct and help and say, "Hey, look, Tony, it's right here. You don't even have to go under the water to untie it."
I thought he was doing it because you have a better view.
The vantage.
A little up above the water to see where things were.
But you're also
somebody
the only...
needed to direct.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
I
the case.
also thought that he was going to get the first leg up with that snake. They were going to hand it up to him.
Except he didn't.
He wasn't able to.
They bailed. He said, I don't have the strength.
I do think that was his intention. He just didn't know he wasn't going to be able to lift it.
Able to help
But it was going to be, the head was going to be that heavy.
I didn't pick him because he's a challenge beast, but it was a very disappointing moment when they're talking about how much they need the strength.
Yeah.
He came off as really weak in the challenge.
He's been working out a lot too, and I think he is way better than last season.
See all the results of that, yeah.
And but when he's up against those other guys, it's not the same kind of in shape as Caleb and Tony and.
Yeah, Nuku's just doing awesome. They had great teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
Got that serpent out of there, negotiated. The way at least we get to see it, they didn't have any trouble going back over the balance beam with the snake.
I did not think they would put Ty out there instead of JT.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise.
It's like, whoa. But again, JT must have said, no, I'm good at the toss.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
Because this is the important part.
Hey, once again, Debbie did a good job. I just want to acknowledge that because
she did.
I don't give her enough credit, I'm sure, because I don't I don't see her as a player in the game, more as entertainment. But she did really good with the combination, kept things moving for them. And then the Mono Tribe just had problem after problem coming back over. People were falling off. They were dropping the snake. I was surprised it ended up being as close as it was.
Oh, yes.
Even getting back up there, given all the trouble they had just to get across the balance beam.
That was really, really good, though. Just to see Malcolm come in and go, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Okay,
1,
we're tied.
2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like, well,
6
okay.
tied. Yep.
While JT
then he
and
went
them
ahead.
just kept throwing it.
He even got ahead.
And,
but it ended up frustrating Michaela because
if he hadn't taken the breather and just let Michaela jump in and toss, they might have won.
Yeah, could have.
And you could see her frustration with him.
JT did great. Sierra Dawn Thomas did good too. She got 3 of those. So, and then JT got the rest for the win.
Yeah, the people that were bringing the snake in have to take part of the responsibility too, not being able to get across the.
Yeah, with a little more time, Malcolm probably would have beat him, huh? As good as he did.
30 seconds, maybe even.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he might have.
All right, but that's Malcolm's story. He doesn't win them all.
But I bet he missed a lot more than we got to see. Because, if they missed and missed and missed and missed.
Yeah, sure. All right, so Nuku wins. They get the fishing gear and the raft. Malcolm tells us we really got to focus on strength. And my first thought was like you
weren't
mentioned before, which was boo. That means Varner may go. I was concerned at that point because he's talking about strength, and Varner did not perform well in the challenge. Okay, we got sharks in the water again at Mana there on day 6. That's when Caleb says, it was like a 700-pound snake.
Well, and when they get back, that's when Michaela tells them, I'm a strong player, and it really.
The only reason I'm here, it's
the only reason I'm
of
here.
my challenge performance.
So I guess that's her story. That's why they brought her back.
Yeah,
she's a challenge beast. But that even if she made it to the merge, that would not be, something I'd want to
but she's got to at least make it to the merge.
Exactly. So, and it's not looking as good for her if she does not get her
Sandra's
emotions.
Concerned that they may have to split the vote. They need to get 2 more.
If Tony finds an idol,
Yeah, 2 more people. So, the threat of him having an idol, given how well he did initially, certainly was working to his advantage.
Did you at that point?
Of getting 2 more? No.
Of getting Caleb and Malcolm?
Yeah, I was.
They did.
This is actually the only point in the overall episode that I'm a bit disappointed with, was how this went down. And yeah, I like being surprised, but when it comes completely out of left field, I just think, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff you didn't show us.
Oh, of course there was, because, we didn't
This is like
see
a
them.
completely fabricated portion of what really happened.
We see them saying that they're going to tell Tony, come with us and we'll tell Tony we're voting Aubry. Mm-hmm. And I think if it would be easier for them to bring Aubry in, all they had to do is say, Tony's agreed to vote you out. So it's like, well, okay then, why wouldn't she vote for him? And,
well, I thought he was going to have an impact. I thought Tony was going to pull it back out. Of course, I'm biased because I was wanting Sandra to go. I had her picked to leave. But his plan to reach out to Michaela, and Caleb had a good discussion, it seemed like, with Michaela. They connected up and said, yeah, let's be strong. And Varner's standing there, and I was thinking, what is he going to make of that discussion, though? Because these two were talking about how they need to be strong, and he wasn't strong.
Yeah,
so
it was
as soon as Sandra goes, he's the next most weakest.
Yeah, we were like, that's a mistake to be saying that right in front of
But on the plus side, to his credit, he's there in the discussion, so he's got a connection with both of them.
Here's something that impressed me about Sandra's play at this point. Mm-hmm. She said what she had to say. We need to get those guys in here. And then Hali and Troy were the ones that approached them. Mm-hmm. Caleb and Malcolm.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Tony did with Caleb. Tony had Caleb go approach Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah. Varner's loving all...
it was Caleb.
Varner was loving all this, having two winners go at it. He said it was like Christmas.
He was hanging on both sides and just kind of making everybody think I'm with you.
Yep.
Whatever you want. I'm just going to lay back here and relax. Listen.
I knew he wasn't great in the challenges, but I guess overall I'm pretty happy with how he's managing his game.
Yeah.
Sandra tells us before they go, no one has a track record like her, so it's off to tribal council. She's reasonably confident how it's going to go down.
But the last thing we heard Caleb talking about was, he didn't want to vote out Tony, and he didn't want to give Sandra that power. Mm-hmm. But somebody changed his mind.
There was a big chunk that we missed prior to going to tribal council. So again, I like
to keep the
surprises
going.
But there's something about how this one got put together that left me feeling disappointed or cheated at the end. Okay, so tribal council.
Wait, I want to say, what did you feel about Michaela talking about, Sandra is just about useless in everything. Mm-hmm. And yet,
she is.
She voted with her, but, she's not useless with strategizing, and she got the job done.
You don't need her to do that kind of strategy. There's plenty of people that could do the same thing.
But what I'm pointing out is I think
hey, not me.
Michaela is making a big mistake if she's completely discounting Sandra.
Well, she...
in this game.
Well, you can see from the result that she didn't.
No,
that something changed, and that's why I felt cheated at the end of
to do with
the resolution of this.
Or, they got some side stuff going we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, well, we don't know. We're just left wondering at this point. Okay, so Tony's bummed with the two losses, and he answers Probst and says, look, we got to be strong in the challenges. You just really need to focus on the strength. And Malcolm says, yeah, we got to keep the tribe strong and be ready to manage the physical challenges.
So it sounded like Michaela was just, talking crap to kind of keep Tony unaware or something, because she kept saying, oh no, we don't need to send strong players home. They were sending the message that it was going to be, somebody else.
Right.
Than one of the strong players.
Yeah, it sounded like they were voting out weak, which is why Sandra at that point said, now I'm afraid. I like Troyzan did a good ambiguous comment there. He said, we're going to be at least 50% less paranoid, because Sandra's paranoid and Tony's paranoid, so they're going to at least cut that in half. So that was well done. I liked his response.
Wow. And Sandra, that just cracked me up. Oh no, I'm calm.
Yeah.
And then she gets the bug in her ear.
That was perfect.
Not calm at all.
I thought, this is great. She's going to go.
But she caught the irony, sat down and did her, okay, deep breathe, then relax. I'm calm.
Tony tells us he hasn't been scamming everyone or anyone, and Varner said, I believe him. So did Malcolm and Caleb, so okay.
And they all voted for him.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, you would think that would feel good to them, though, in one respect, because they got Tony out.
Yeah, you get to be part
Right
of the group.
away, and yeah.
Make sure that he gets his torch snuffed the
We
first
made a
time.
big move. We got Tony out.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And we blindsided
So do you
him.
think it was the right
We didn't
play?
let him know.
I know I'm biased here, but I don't think it was the right play for that tribe. I think what they were saying was on the right track.
Well, you know what I thought was,
They need to win.
if it was a regular season, I would have thought it was a big mistake to get rid of a strong person like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a regular season.
Sure.
And they're going to switch this thing up, and they're going to
You don't know that at this point, though,
know.
if you're them.
But I thought that they were going to do a lot more, shaking them up,
Mm-hmm.
because these guys are, some of them have played 4 times now, so they got to keep them on their toes. They expect more from them, and so they want to keep them, shaken up. That's why we're going to keep throwing things at them. I think they will the whole way through.
So I was certainly confused when Sandra announced when she was voting that she was voting for Aubry. So Aubry ends up with 2, Tony gets 5, he's gone. But he doesn't go quietly into this good night. He pipes up and says, "You guys are like sheep to the slaughter." But Sandra's not going to have any of that, right?
Yeah,
That's
you're
what
not
you
going to
get.
get the last word
Bye-bye,
in,
Tony.
Sandra. She's going to have
Say
the
hi to
last word.
Cirie for Sierra for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she needs to back off of the whole playing up the queen thing.
I don't. I think she should add more.
Because that's going to hurt her eventually.
So,
Just
did I feel
let it
cheated
go
because
now.
she didn't go?
I
Or
don't.
did I feel cheated because the way you didn't see that coming and people end up voting completely opposite of everything that they let us see?
Blindside.
Me? Yeah.
You too.
Not him. He
I-
knew he was at risk.
He knew he was at risk, but I don't think he believed it at all. I think he totally
I tell
thought
you
he
what,
was staying.
I know.
We'll ask him.
Yes. Let's make
But
a
that's
note.
what I believe
Okay.
right now.
Anything else you want to say about Tribal or the episode before we go to next time on Survivor?
I don't believe so.
Next time on Survivor, drop your buffs.
Yep. 6 days.
Yeah, so that'll be day 7 actually. This was day 6 that they had Tribal Council on,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Somewhere around there, 7 or 8.
And then they show us there's a hidden idol at the challenge.
Cool.
And somebody got a clue.
A guy is holding a clue. We don't know if he's the only one who has it, or probably,
Mm-hmm.
but a guy with thick hands, weathered hands, is holding a clue that explains where the hidden immunity is. I like that it had all the extra guidance, right, on how you might want to strategically acquire
strategically play it.
it. Yeah.
It's like, okay, well.
You might want to wait until after the win of the immunity challenge.
and then you'll
to
have a
get
little
this.
more time to go over and do this.
Yeah, he
Et cetera,
be
et
able
cetera.
to leverage the excitement or the disappointment as a distraction. The letter tells
Just don't
us.
run over there and try to get it because
Yeah.
people will see you. And then, that was. It's like, okay, that's quite a lot of direction that was on that.
And we get some clues as to who's on the new Nuku,
Yeah, a little bit.
right? We get, what is it? What did we decide? 6 of them? So we find
Yeah.
out that JT.
I don't know that I would say that. Just let people look for themselves if they want to know.
Okay, well, it's there in the next time on Survivor. And I guess I was wrong because JT are chasing goats, and you hear someone say, "I got it."
That sounded like one of the other guys, and I don't know that he really had it. He was still running.
Yeah.
So
I initially thought that was JT
JT that
saying
said it.
that, and that maybe he'd grabbed a back leg of one, but then I couldn't really see one
Yeah.
in the clip because you could see one clearly that Malcolm was chasing.
unless it was small, but,
What do you think of JT's strategy to get some time to look for idols? I thought that was pretty good.
What do
Well, he tells Malcolm, "Oh, I got to take you guys out on the raft so you
Oh,
can
yeah,
do some
yeah,
fishing."
yeah. Okay, I
He
forgot
tells
that.
tells the camera basically, "Oh yeah, I get him out there so I'll have time to do some
But
idol hunting."
again, JT, it's not always good to isolate yourself from the group.
There was a little bit of a quote there from Varner with him saying something like that was a pretty good way to get people,
To vote them off or get them out. Or
to get them out, I guess, in terms of that. But it didn't seem like it really fit, did it? We didn't think that it was in sync with what they were talking about, what they were doing there.
No, so
Having them out on the boat
We'll
to fish.
find out
But Varner
next
was
Sunday.
out on the raft out there with them fishing, so
yeah, it doesn't seem
Interesting.
like a Varner thing.
no, it didn't, did it? But you know what? He's getting in there. He's part of everybody's
He's
group.
Being friendly
He's got
with
a
everyone.
new group, and
That
he
was his
is part of
strategy.
it. Yes, I think that part's working.
He is definitely more mellow.
Yep.
You know, he
least what we
went
got to
so
see.
hard and fast before,
And second
but he
chances,
seems to really
yeah.
be sitting back and letting everybody else do the, run around and, blah, blah, blah. And yet he's placing himself strategically around the people who are having conversations.
I'm just so thrilled that he was not, he's not out of the loop. So before he made one decision and then he was always out of the loop. So as far as I'm concerned, he's doing okay right now. I have reservations, but I just had to cheer for him.
Sounds good.
All right, how about a JSFL update?
Okay, we don't have all the results yet.
What?
That we won't. Well, I can't score when it has to be done.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a complexity
Yeah.
when you end up with two going out.
We need the expert, and so
Yeah, need Steve's extra
I
help.
just told Steve, we'll announce it Saturday.
Right.
Because we like to.
It'll be
record
up
as soon
before
as
then
it's
if
over.
you want to go look, but we'll cover it in the listener feedback.
I did just want to say that all of the people who had Sierra Easton as a vote out will get 2 points for
That's
the
right.
first vote off.
First out bonus, FOB.
Those who had Tony will only get 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had both of them, then you get 3 vote off points plus your
Or
your
if you
safe
really
points.
goof it up like I did,
Yeah.
you get 2 for Sierra, and then you lose 1 for having Tony safe.
I did go
So I
in
effectively
and
only got 1.
and just pull out the challengers. It was 13
Oh, the side
of you
challenge?
guys in
Yeah,
the
I got a
side challenge.
baker's dozen this time
Yep,
in the
it
side
is
challenge.
now closed for this season.
Mm-hmm.
We have 13 in the side challenge. Iron Dave is in the lead right now with 7 points.
Ooh, all right, you got them all right. Good job, bud.
With 6 points, we got Cold Mike, Drew, Jeremiah, Jonathan, and Nina. 5 points, Hubaloo, James and Shannon, and Stacy.
Right there in the middle. That's where the winner's coming from, that row right there.
Yeah,
Stacy.
I think someone said that all last season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with 4 points, we have Brandon, Parker, and Seth. And with 3 points in the bottom as of right now is Jody. Sorry, Jody.
All right, Jody, 3. That's awesome. Good job.
Okay.
See it and be it, Jody. See it and be it. You can do it.
You're so obnoxious.
Speaking of obnoxious, no, I don't know. I
Yes.
don't have anywhere to go with that. All right. I was hoping something would
like-
come to me before I got to the end of the sentence, but I got nothing.
Yeah, well.
But you know who doesn't have nothing is the other super fans who are going to be chomping at the bit to weigh in on this first awesome 2-hour 500th episode of Survivor is Game Changers is now underway. So we're all looking forward to hearing what the other fans thought. We've laid out the broad strokes. Obviously, we've been talking for over an hour. We're so excited and pumped, even though you're dying to be asleep. We got to get ready for 2 interviews.
I'm a long
Yeah.
way away from that.
Yeah.
Hours away from that.
Right. So, but we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this. And there may be, you got a different perspective on it based on what you saw. We might have missed something key. We're always busy taking notes, so we might have missed a glance between
That's
two
right.
players that's significant you saw or something you know about what went down based on your life experience. We'd love to hear more from your perspective, what your thoughts are on the first 2-hour episode and any predictions you're willing to make if you want to be bold like me. Our voicemail number is 206-350-1547. We got a toll-free version of that number to make it easy to call. That's 844-643-8737. The email, joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. So whether you write it up or whether you call the voicemail or whether you record your own, keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody in, and we'll get that show together on Saturday. Your feedback's due noon Pacific time, and then we will put another show together. All right. Anything you would like to add at this point?
Nope. I'm just excited that we're off and running.
Yeah, thrilled, and it was a
And
good
I'm just
episode. Probst had
thrilled.
talked in some of the preseason interviews that he was surprised about how it was a slow start and how Tony was playing tentatively, and so I had this impression going in, and I was like, "What was he talking about?"
And
this
I
was
said,
great.
don't tell me things like that. I don't want to hear it.
But it wasn't that. This is really good. We certainly enjoyed this. So, do you have a prediction for who you think's going to go next?
I totally don't, because they're switching up the tribes.
Yeah, it
and,
makes it even harder, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not going to make it easy on us.
Maybe we can make
this
some
season
predictions
either.
in the listener feedback show after
Yeah,
we get some of that
yeah.
additional insight and had a little more time to noodle on
As
it.
of right now.
Have the interviews too. So I'm really curious what went down before tribal council. I'm hoping Tony can enlighten us a little bit when we get to talk to him.
Well, he may not know. He thought he knew.
Possible. Well,
But he may not.
You can't. Yeah. Let's ask Tony. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. Anything you want to add?
I don't believe so. Just looking forward to this season.
Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.